Well, welcome back, everyone, to the ITA Alumni Atlanta Chapter, kind of a catching up with series we're doing with some of our famous and infamous alums that live here in the Atlanta area. And we're really blessed today to be joined by Stephen Enochs, who, of course, University of Georgia, small little school here in our state, class of 1989, who currently lives here in Atlanta. Actually, Stephen happens to be the chair of the UST Georgia Investment Committee, which I'm the executive director of. So we correspond, what, Steve, once a quarter, kind of looking at portfolios.
Yeah,
so it's really nice to, so it's really nice to correspond now, not having to look at mutual funds and these kind of things. So I really thank you so much for joining us today.
Happy to be here.
Stephen, you grew up amazing player, still, and you're still playing at a high level. We'll talk about that. But you grew up in Greensboro, North Carolina as a junior player, right in the hotbed of ACC basketball country. So I'm curious, how did you decide to go down the tennis route? I'm sure people were pulling at you, being the great athlete you are. Hey, we got to get you on the hardwood, and you, for whatever reason, went to the other hard courts.
Yeah, I was lucky enough that my parents both loved tennis. And so their passion for the game is really what got me into tennis. And I was also lucky enough to grow up in the kind of country club environment. So golf and tennis were, the two sports that were kind of easiest for me to get to and to enjoy. I played other sports also. My parents encouraged me to play, soccer, basketball, and quite honestly, I was just a little bit better at tennis, and so that one kind of got my attention, and I enjoyed it more than the others. So,
well, remember, it's individual sports, so you can't blame anyone when you do something wrong, but you're pretty much on your own, and a lot of people are attracted to that. Team sports are great, but some people are really attracted to individual sports, you being one. So you had great success as a junior player. One of the greatest players in the history of North Carolina, according to our dear friend, mutual friend Kelly Gaines, up in Greensboro there. 5 USTA gold balls. Can you talk about maybe your junior experience, maybe one of your most favorite memories, one of the gold balls that you won, or anything you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, so there's a lot of memories in those. They're special. Winning a national title is, always difficult and interesting. And I do remember it was actually 10 and unders. They used to have 10 and unders back in the day, I think, or maybe
at the national level. Unders. Interesting.
Yeah, good. Okay. You know what? I'm not even sure. Let's just say it was 12 and under because I don't really remember. That's so long ago. But I do remember coming back from the national clays were in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So it's only like 40 minutes away from my home. And, I didn't really think it's that big of a deal, quite honestly. I mean, you just play tournaments all the time. It's another tournament. And I won the thing. And I remember I beat Al Parker in the semifinals, the famous Al Parker, who's a great friend today. And then Mike Briggs, who played at UC Irvine. Anyway, came home from the tournament and they had a big sign up at the tennis courts at the country club. And I was like, wow, this is so cool. People really knew that I was playing this tournament. And all of a sudden you got your, miniature fame at age 11 or whatever it was. Okay. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And, it really is the people that you meet throughout the years of tennis that makes it all worthwhile, from your coaches to your friends. I mean, all these guys that, let's call it like a fraternity at age 11. You got your fraternity of friends. So that's what drove me and got me going. And there's so many memories along the way. I mean, I could talk forever about some of them. And, you look back at some of the names of guys you played, from Jim Courier. I remember had a nice win over Jim. I think it was 2-1 in Columbia, South Carolina. I think it was 110 degrees, or it felt like 150. And I know he went to the hospital after the match, and I felt great. And memories like that. And then today, I can't last a set and a half in the heat. Literally, not even a set and a half. It's just your body just gives up on you. Things change in life, and it's like you look back at those memories, you're like, I remember that. I remember when. And so it's just a million different memories that I could go on and on, but I won't bore you.
Sure. No, that's okay. I mean, that's probably the only match Al Parker lost, right, in juniors?
Yeah, he didn't lose many.
Seems like it.
What a competitor. I mean, really, he went through a story with Al. So, like, he went through a summer where he lost his confidence in his serve, and he could not hit serve in the court. He'd be the first to tell you, for an entire summer, he served underhanded because he couldn't hit a serve in. He still never lost. Okay, he would beat you with an underhand serve. This was, I think, I'm gonna go 14 and unders maybe. The guy was just, it was incredible, and still is. I mean, he still plays and active. He had a kind of semi-heart attack where they got it early, and he had to stop playing one day on the tennis court, of course, and went and got it taken care of, and is all better. Just thinking back of those years through all those tournaments, there's just a million different things that go through your mind, and how much fun you had chasing those gold balls. And I traveled with my mom all over the country for 4 to 6 years. You get so close to your mom, and then here you are, she's 86, she's got liver cancer, and you're going to visit her. And what are you talking about? You're talking about, you remember at the the intersectionals in South Carolina when this match happened and that happened, and that's still your memory of what you talk about. She still thinks I should be on the circuit still. I'm 52, and she's very confident I could still compete at the US Open this year, despite the fact that I played the qualies 3 times, never got through the qualies, never got into the tournament, top ranking 350 in the world. But she's very confident I could still make probably the quarters if I played today.
Well, you definitely would have made it through qualies this year. There is none.
That is correct. I was very sad to see John Isner lose last night. By the way, a shout out to Mr. John Isner, my favorite player. He had lost 7-6 in the 5th to Stevie Johnson, and he is such an awesome player, gentleman. Just my favorite tennis player and the greatest serve of all time. And from Greensboro, North Carolina, my hometown.
And to be honest, those 2 players right there probably got more out of their abilities in college than most. I'm sure there are a few others, Paul Goldstein, those types. But having lived in Southern California, I watched Stevie grow up through the juniors, and obviously his tremendous college success. It's funny, USC wasn't even that interested in recruiting him, to be honest, at the start. But they decided to take him, and the rest is history. But it's kind of interesting. Both those 2 players, I mean, they got so much out of college tennis to transition, and probably Isner a little bit more. He's had a little bit more success. But 2 just tremendous players, and it was interesting to watch them last night in a having gone to schools with huge fans and these types of things, and they're playing basically in an empty stadium. But speaking of University of Georgia. So you had great success at junior. I'm sure a lot of the ACC schools were chomping at the bit to secure your services, but you decided to go into Athens. So was it Coach McGill that convinced you? Was it the players? What got your interest in Georgia? I know they had won a national championship, right? In '85, maybe that was part of it.
So this is what it was. It was 3 things, but mostly I committed verbally to go to North Carolina. Had every intention of going to North Carolina. After I agreed to go verbally, I 100% planned to go. And then I went with Jim Childs, who I grew up playing with. I went to the NCAAs. I'd never, ever seen a tennis match with that many people, that much excitement before. And, tennis doesn't draw, especially college tennis, doesn't draw that many people. But, I mean, it was a sold-out crowd. There's not one seat in the house. Back then, they were serving kegs at the matches, and the crowds were so rowdy and so much fun. And I watched Pern Fours. It came down to, so it was, back then it was first, not non-matches.
Singles.
And it came down to the doubles. The singles were, let's say, split, and it came down to the final match in doubles between Pern Fours and Miller against, I want to say Leach and Paulset, something like that. It's Southern Cal. And this wasn't the final. I think this was the semi, but I'm not positive. But all I know is it came down like 7-5 in the 3rd set. Fern Force topspin lob winner to win it. Miller crossing, angle volleys, crowds going crazy, stomping their feet against these aluminum chairs. It was so loud and so exhilarating, exciting. I was like, okay, let me get this right. They want me to come there, and this is what it's like. Okay, North Carolina, I love you. I love them to this day, but they just don't have that, and it's not their fault. It's really, you go back to, did Georgia have an unfair advantage for NCAAs in recruiting back in the day? The answer is yes. But in my opinion, even now looking at it somewhat objectively, there's nothing better for college tennis than for University of Georgia to have the NCAAs, because it's just not as exciting anywhere else. And so that's what going to that match made me consider it. And then when I met Coach McGill, he was just hilarious, okay, just funny. And then there was 4 seniors graduating from that class that I went to see. You had Pernfors, Miller, Bezekny, and Fry, the top 4 guys, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm like, well, I know I can play there because they got to have somebody play, okay?
Right.
And so I'm probably going to start. And, that's your goal when you go there, is to play. And so then my buddy was going, TJ Middleton, who was an awesome doubles player, top 50 in the world. He won mixed doubles with Laurie McNeil in Wimbledon. And he was going. I was like, okay, let's go. And so I really felt really bad, actually, to not go to North Carolina, because I really did commit. But it was the right decision for me, for sure, at that time.
Yeah.
So that was a really cool experience. And I loved it. Of course, met my wife there too. So if you think about it, I mean, it does change your life where you go to school.
Sure.
And it worked out great, had a successful career there, loved it. And I'm glad it worked out, glad I kind of went against the grain to go somewhere different, because my whole family went to North Carolina. I mean, it's like, everybody goes there. My whole high school class goes to North Carolina, if you can get in. Okay. And, I probably wouldn't have gotten in if it weren't for tennis, because it's really hard. But I was able to.
You guys have the Duke logo. You guys have the Duke logo painted in your toilet, right? Is that at the Enochs house?
No, we don't like Duke.
Yeah, well, the year that our team, I went to UC Santa Barbara, and we were lucky enough to qualify, make it through the regionals. And it happened to be that was the year that UCLA hosted, which for us was great because our fans could come. But there's always been a little, for all of us on my team, would have loved to have played in Athens. And under
Absolutely.
that, I'm sure we would have been the 8 o'clock match. The West Coast teams always, they get screwed over there. I mean, I hear about it every year when I was there, but it would have been fun to play in Athens. So speaking of Southern California, your sophomore year, you guys won another NCAA team championship, and in succession, beating Pepperdine, USC, and then UCLA in the final, basically the Southern Cal triangle, which we were talking about this earlier. Literally, my apartment for 10 years in West LA area was equidistant to all 3 of those schools. I could just hop on. I go west to go to Pepperdine, north to UCLA, east to USC. I mean, what an amazing accomplishment to beat all 3 of those teams in a row. I assume every day. You didn't have a day off like they sometimes do now. Can you talk about that experience and winning the clinching match in '87, being the last match, not last match on deciding, but last singles that got it done?
Yeah, that was a fun year. That was '87 when we won. I mean, I remember that year because I was playing the best tennis of my life, for sure. Won all 4 matches in singles in that tournament, NCAA tournament. And of course, the only reason I clinched was I choked pretty bad. I was up a set and a break against Buff Farrow, who's a heck of a good player.
Great player.
But I let him back in it, choked the second set away. And I remember telling myself, okay, you did that because you're going to clinch. That was the only way I could stay positive, because I blew the second. Yeah. So anyway, it worked out good at the end because he double faulted on match point, which is really awkward, by the way. It's hard to celebrate when someone double faults. But I took a split second to let him, not feel too bad. And then of course the team ran and jumped on me, and that was a blast. So, but I was just played steady. Georgia's courts were so slow. you really couldn't, attack too much. And that's why Pern Force had so much success, I think, there. And, my style was, just to outsteady the opponent. And no, that's really fun. And UC Santa Barbara, by the way, that's where they had Junior Davis Cup tryouts back in 1986 for me. And I had to beat Malavia Washington. It was between me and him, whoever won the final match to get in. And I took him out. And that was that place is beautiful. What a great school. You must have loved that.
Not a bad spot, huh?
The weather?
Not sure I get in now, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's like the greatest weather anywhere in the world. It's so nice. So
yeah, that in San Diego. But yeah, it's just a great place for me. And but I mean those teams, Pepperdine, Robbie Weiss, was he playing for Pepperdine?
Yeah, okay, so I caught a break on that one. Robbie Weiss broke his hand. Okay. So his left hand though, not his right hand. So he was playing with a one-handed backhand. Okay. He normally has a two-handed backhand. So I played him. He played number 2 for Pepperdine, and I beat him. And it was close. It was 3-6. I mean, I can remember it like it was yesterday. And I remember, like, God, I couldn't get it to his backhand. He run around everything and hit his darn forehand. His forehand's huge. And I'm really happy for him. He got a coaching job. Do you know where? I can't remember.
He's at Clemson. Yeah, he's been there. This will be his second season. Yeah. No, he's definitely. I mean, I do a lot of supervising and officiating. You can definitely tell that there's some good momentum at Clemson. He'll do well there. I think. I hope so. He seems to be a
heck of a player. Yeah.
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 And then USC had 7 professional players, right, playing for it like they usually do.
So Southern Cal, I remember that match. I'm gonna give you the result. That's 6-3-3-6-6-3. Okay, that's Luke Jensen. Every time I see him, he always shakes his head at me. Man, I can't believe that match. You suck. And he is nice, polite, and hilarious, and his mom too. And we have a lot of fun when joking about it. And I remember Mid Parker made a bet. Thank you, Mid. I think he's the only person on the planet who bet on me to win that match. Okay. But a guy serving with both hands. I mean, are you kidding me? That's insane. But that's Luke Jensen to be able to serve both hands. It's just unbelievable. But I just remember all I did was I'd hit a little short angle, like the little Federer slice short. He'd hit it and come in on a slow course, and I would top spin lob. So that was how that was my strategy against him that particular day. I would not want to try to duplicate that one, but it helped to have the crowd behind you for sure.
Sure, and Luke would tell you he had a 45-inch vertical leap, so that wasn't going to work, but it did. So
yeah,
just great teams, all of them, and obviously the home crowd helped, but particularly day after day. I mean, that's the really tough part of the NCAA team championship, because the stakes are so high, and every day is just I don't want to call it a war because it's not a fight, but it's really. I mean, the team that recovers probably has a huge advantage every day. What amazing competition! So, for you guys to win that, and then come back 2 years later and make the semis as an individual, was that kind of a fitting way to end your college career in '89?
Yeah, but that loss in the semis hurt. That hurt because I mean, does anyone remember who made the semis of NCAA's? I even forget, to be honest with you. You got to win it. If you don't win it, it's like whatever. Yeah. So that's why I'm glad we won the team. But I will say, '87 we won the team. I had to play at 8 a.m. the next day, and I did not like that. Okay. 8 a.m. after you win the team championship, I hit my alarm, I guess, and turned it off. My coach McGill had to call me at 7:45 because I was supposed to be there at 7:15 to warm up. He said, "Where are you, man?" I was asleep. That's where I was at 7:45 for an 8 o'clock match. But I won the first set, so I can't have too much of an excuse. But that was what's that? That was the UCLA guy, Ken Diller. Good player. Yeah, on slick. We had to play on the girls' courts. Now of course they're all the same because of Title IX. Women's courts. Thank you. But they're not the women's courts anymore. Now they're just courts, and and Title IX created a lot of equal stuff, which is good. But those courts were faster, is my point. And it was hard. That guy comes in on everything. But that was '87, '89 semis. Lost to Stephen Jung, this Nebraska kid who hits 1,000 balls in a row. and I had just beaten the guy lost to in the final, Laycraft from LSU. So I liked my chances if I could have gotten the final, but that dude beat me bad, 3-3, and it wasn't that close, and I was awful. I mean, it was just no good for me.
Yeah.
But that was a good tournament. Semis is no slouch, but yeah.
The other day I talked to Shannon McCarthy Gaudet, who, loved those courts. She's like, it fit my game. I didn't want to go downstairs. It was a great place for me to play.
Yeah.
I mean, still, what'd she go, 34-0 at number 1 her freshman year? I mean, against that competition, just ridiculous. But so anyway,
that's
transition
amazing.
out. Obviously,
Yeah.
I know it really was. I mean, you did so many amazing things, and UST North Carolina decides to give you their highest honor, right? It's being a member of the UST North Carolina Hall of Fame. I know it meant a lot to you.
Yeah.
I know it meant a lot to Kelly to see you be enshrined there. Can you talk about that experience and maybe what that means to you?
Wonderful honor. And I'll give a shout out. Stacy Shefflin from Matthews/Charlotte, North Carolina is getting inducted this year. That's January of 21, and Charlie Owens. And I'm going to go back for the first time since I got inducted. And I should have been back more, but you get busy, it's hard. But an honor like that, and I'm just realizing this, it's almost like it's more of an honor for your parents, okay, and for your brother. So my brother is the one who kind of called and made the recommendation for them to consider me, okay, and so he feels honored that I got in. And then my parents, I mean, they loved it, right? I mean, of course I love it too, but it means even more for those around you who did so much to get you into it. So it's just a nice memory, and I was honored by it, and look forward to going back in January for Stacy Shefflin, a friend of mine. So.
Yeah, I know here in Georgia, we just announced our Hall of Fame members, Craig Jones, and of course, Brian Bahaley, another great college player. Had a great junior career here in Georgia. So hopefully we'll be able to celebrate them. We had to unfortunately postpone that a year, but hopefully we'll be able to celebrate them next summer. But congratulations on that enshrinement. Again, that's one more Hall of Fame than I'm in and probably ever will be. So it's 5 more gold balls and 1 more Hall of Fame, Stephen. Good.
Yeah,
Thanks.
But the beautiful
thing
so
is, appreciate that.
The Hall of Fame, of course, you can do it for volunteer work as well as for our prior tennis accomplishments. Yes. So.
That's true. So you're still playing at a high level. Of course, only a set and a half, and then you have to either win or retire.
That's correct.
But you getting a lot of enjoyment. I know you played some Southern Senior Cup for Georgia and some other events. Any favorite adult event that you like playing now? ASI?
So yes, okay. First of all, I love all the pro-ams. Shout out to all of them, all the country clubs around here. I mean, they're just great events and fun people. You meet a lot of fun people. But they had the national 40s, which Gavin O'Connell from Emory, hell of a player. So we won that 2 years in a row when we were like 43, 44. That was at Atlanta Athletic Club. That was really great tournament, and an honor to have gotten a couple sneaky old gold balls, right? You don't get them that much when you're old.
You got more than 5. Yeah, you got more than 5. So
well, I don't know, if I'm being honest with you. And I also have lost my, the national championship ring from Georgia. I lost it. If anyone has it, please return it. Yeah.
Okay.
On my move, I think it got misplaced somewhere. But let's see. But yeah, so in the Cherokee tournament, the ASI, Atlanta Senior Invitational, great tournament. Atlanta, I love playing that when I'm healthy, but I'm just never healthy. And I mean, I'm not like bad injured, but I had back surgery about 4 years ago, and man, that'll slow you down. And then my heat, I can't take the heat. It's unbelievable. I have to. No cramping stuff. What is that stuff? Cramps Away.
Yeah.
That stuff works.
Cramps Away. Yeah.
That thing has saved me twice now.
They're not paying you to say that, are they? That's good.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't think so. That stuff is good.
All right, well, we'll check on that. But yeah, that's what I've heard. So.
No, the answer is definitely not on that.
Right.
It's been very helpful.
Okay, great. And so you moved over to the investment world. That's kind of where we connected a little bit. President of your own company, Cape Securities, you're helping them. What was your major? Was this your major at Georgia? Was that always kind of, you always want to go down the financial route?
So yes, actually, I will say I actually did think ahead that I might want to do this, and that was like something that I kind of had an idea that I might want to do. One of a few different things. And I was, I think when I got out of college, I worked for AT&T. That was 1991, 1990, no, 92 when I got that job, I think. But anyway, no, it was 90, 91, doesn't matter. Worked at AT&T as a financial analyst for a couple years, and then I was teaching tennis on the side, right? A little cash beer money on the side, and you meet the guys. Yeah, we all do that. I still have my bucket of balls ready to go if if something goes wrong and I need to survive. But I met these guys that worked at Robinson Humphrey, used to be part of Smith Barney, great investment company, and they were willing to give me a shot. And of course, I would never have gotten the job if I hadn't met them teaching them tennis. So like everything in life, it seems like it all funnels back into the people you know from tennis. And so I worked there for a few years. That was fantastic. And worked at the big firms for 15 years or so, and then I went on my own and started my own company, and have been doing it ever since. So I've been doing it now since 1992, so quite a long time, or 94, I guess.
Yeah, well, 92 I was still in high school, but 94 I was just getting into college. So
yeah, well, I'm a little older than you are, Darren.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, I don't feel like it, my friend. That's what twins will do to me and little one. Yeah. So speaking of that, part of the hope of the alumni network, as we kind of hopefully get this going, is for people to be able to connect, learn from each other, maybe make some personal connections, help people that need some help out there. Do you have any piece of advice to anyone that's maybe just graduating or just out of college, as to maybe their next path, what they need to do?
So I guess I would say use your tennis, and use the connections and the people that want to help you. Because I know when I get calls from people, can you help me? And if I know them from tennis and I like them from tennis, I want to help them. It's not, they're not asking.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer if you like the guy. And quite honestly, I do believe if someone's a good guy on the tennis court, there's a good chance he's a good guy in the business world. Okay, because there's definitely a connection to it. And so I would say using your tennis, and again, using it in the right way. I mean, all it does is introduce you to people. It doesn't give you the business. It gives you the opportunity to talk to somebody. Okay, and then you gotta work your tail off. Like there's absolutely obviously no replacement for working your tail off. Anyone you talk to in this network of people, those who are successful, they work their tail off. Most of them. Yeah. So that's all.
Well, Stephen, you're a Hall of Famer in every sense of the word. What a tremendous career, college and on the investment side, and you're still playing at a pretty high level. So let's try to stay healthy out there. And really want to thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure. Enjoyed it. Thanks for having me.
Okay, folks, that's Stephen Enochs, University of Georgia, class of 1989 NCAA team champion, joining us here on Catching Up with the Atlanta Alumni Chapter for ITA. Hope you enjoyed that conversation. Come back soon for our next one. Thanks for watching.